Hey everyone, just dropping in here before we get going with the interview to just call attention to the fact that this interview was done live at Midgardsblot, and we somehow managed to schedule this interview at the exact moment that they were sound checking the stage dolls. But luckily, it only really affects the first 5 minutes of this interview. So if you find yourself really annoyed or distracted by the background noise, just fast forward to about 5 minutes in, at which point the background noise reduces to the minimum noise you would expect from doing an interview at a festival. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this return of Mio to the channel. You all know that I love these guys to death, and I hope that you find something to appreciate about them too in this interview. So thank you for watching. Let's just get into it.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Nordic Sound, live from Midgardsblot with 3 members of the lovely Mio. I have Maya, Dio, and Mariana here with me to talk about Mio's newest album and their signing with ByNorse as they get ready to play their second Midgardsblot show today.
Yay.
Guys, how are you doing? Welcome to Midgardsblot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Very happy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good to be back again.
Yeah, we were talking earlier that you feel less like you're the newbies at a place and more like you are returning to your own.
Just a little newbie still, but I think that's maybe just a feeling that I will never lose.
Yep.
But in a way, maybe that's a good thing to be a bit grounded.
Yes. Yeah. Stay on your toes, keep you humble. Yeah. So you guys, before we get to talking about the new album, you guys recently signed to ByNorse, which was, for me, I work with ByNorse quite a bit with their artists and all of that, and that even took me by surprise. I still remember waking up, and the thing I do every morning is I scroll as I sort of like gain consciousness, and the first thing I see when I open up Facebook was Mio and ByNorse on the same post, and I was like, what the fuck? that was completely unexpected. So do you guys want to say a little bit about sort of how that sort of came around?
Yeah, we were also very, very happy.
A bit surprised as well.
Yep.
Yeah, to be fair.
Because the process was that we made a new album, and then we wanted a new label. And then we started the hunt for a new label, and ByNorse was maybe like the first thing we were like, okay, they're perfect, dream team. I think they will understand our thing. So we were like, okay, how can we get them to like us? And then we sent them the full album actually. And surprisingly, we didn't get a reply first. It took quite a while, and we were like, okay, it's not gonna happen. Yeah. And then suddenly, one day, Henny found in their trash
the spam
folder. On
It's
their
always
mail.
the spam folder.
Yes, and they were like,
and we didn't know, and then it was like it was sent 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
At the point when they were checking, so like freaking out, need to reply immediately. Like yes, let's set up a meeting. So it was a bit like stressful. Like, are we too late? Lose them? Did we lose them already? But no, we didn't. And we set up a meeting like 1 or 2 weeks after that. Started chatting, and immediately like good chemistry from the first get-go. And they were ready to release our second album.
Awesome.
Which was fantastic news.
And it was very funny because Einar from Vadruna, who made ByNorse, he was like he doesn't work in the label in that way that Simon and Latish and the other people, which are great people and work there, are, but he still is like the founder, and like he has the control over maybe something of the creative side, like what is the brand, what is ByNorse. And then he was the person that actually pushed it on to the people working there, being like, okay, I like this. Mio is different, and I think we should do this. And I'm like, thank you, Einar. Never met you, but thank you for pushing Mio forward to the great people in ByNorse. So that was very, very, very good thing for us.
I agree, because it was also exciting to see you guys like on such an unpredicted label. Because I was already excited for what you guys were making, and then when I saw that you were on a label as out of left field as ByNorse, I was like, well, this is going to be real fucking good.
It was great. I feel like they understood our our niche in
Yeah.
a way, and our style, and they embraced our uniqueness. And I love it. So that's great.
I remember when I was talking to some people in ByNorse, they were saying like, what we really love about these guys is they are always playing live. And we've talked at length about how your guys' shows are just so electric, and it's one of the best parts of just following you is seeing how much fun you guys have live. And so you definitely you definitely are striking that amazing balance between not only putting out great records but also putting on the great live shows that follow it up, right? But yeah, anything else maybe either Maya or Mariana wants to say about the ByNorse thing before we move on to What Now?
It felt like just really great that the label like ByNorse would like recognize what we do, and like you talked about, like actually we feel like they actually see our vision and they understand what we want to do, and not like try to push us in a direction we don't want to go, or something like that.
You guys are a Viking band now. Please get used to it.
Honestly, I was a bit afraid that they were gonna say, "Okay, you gotta be more like Vadruna." But
here is your requisitioned frame drum. You must play this in every song.
But I was like, okay, and we talked about that before the meeting, and we were like, okay, what do we say if they say that? Well, we're all like, depends on what they're saying and what part and how much they want, but because we're like we talked about last time we talked, we're open to stuff. So I'm like, okay, I can hand drum, sure, but if I also can run around with devil horns and scream, fine. So we'll see.
That's awesome. Mariana?
I feel like it feels like a really good, or like a huge recognition of us, really, because we've done so much ourselves. We still do, like we're very DIY still.
Very punk rock.
It's just feels really good that we've earned it in a way, and we're like stepping up in the like music industry ladder, I guess, but still like we're doing most of it ourselves, and everything we've done this year has been like it has been like from what we've worked so hard for, really, and all the festivals as well. Like we played Urkult, which was
so cool.
crazy.
Yeah, it was insane.
I've never felt like a rock star that much in my entire life.
That was crazy.
And that was because I met the booking guy at Riddu, and I sat by the fire and talked to him, and I was like, yeah, we should come next year. And then I started emailing, and then eventually we
started the process.
We came there and we played, and it feels so good that we've done so much ourselves and still do. But now we also have a great team that recognize that and recognize like all the hard work we've done and put into the project. So it just feels good.
That's one of my
fun
favorite.
To see what happens for the next years to come.
Really. It's one of my favorite parts about following bands like you guys. It's just nice to once in a while like see a success story. Like a big it's up to you guys if you feel like it's a success or not. But at least from the outside looking in, seeing people who are DIY, they put the effort in, and it seems to be working. Because you know what I mean. But it is not. It's very. I think it's inspiring to see that like that's not just a myth. That if you put the work in and do what you love, it can at least in some ways work out. Right.
It is possible, definitely.
It is definitely possible. Some people can just feel defeated before they even start, which isn't the best way to go about it. So.
And I think a lot of musicians now also underestimate how much work it is. Because it is a lot of work, and they're like, okay, they're prepared for a lot of work, but it's like, it's a lot more than that.
More than you think.
There is the joke that you're not now in the 21st century. Not only do you have to play music, you also have to be able to edit videos, and you need to know marketing and promotion, and you spend half your time making Instagram reels, and it's not. You actually spend comparatively little time playing your damn instrument.
And then when you're also doing everything around it too, you're booking, you're also all of that other stuff we have to do ourselves, then it's like it's actually it could be someone's job because it is a job. But we do it ourselves. I don't know if I said that last time, but it's like when you don't want to have a 9-to-5 job, you choose a 24/7 job. So then you never have time off. And then but it's worth it because it's so fun to play, and music is magic. So of course we're just trying to hang in there, but it helps when you have a great team around
A small
you.
army.
With the
I would call Mia a small army.
Yeah.
There's like 7 of you, 6 of you. I don't
Six,
even.
yeah. An army of 6.
yeah, and we help each other out, and that's
Yep.
also, I think, the main reason why we can hang in there.
Yep.
Also, because for a person doing it alone, I understand that you give up
Yeah.
after some time.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
understand that. It's heavy. It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So the title of your new album, Hva Nå, What Now, I thought was just such a perfect name for the record in so many ways. I mentioned some of this in my review of it, but like that was a question I was actually asking myself after the first time I listened to your first album. Was like, where do they go from here? You know what I mean? Because that is the kiss and the curse that I mentioned of having such a strong first album is like, what is the second album's relationship going to be to the first one, right?
How are we going to top that?
Exactly, yep. And then in going from that, right, I was even, when you guys announced the name of the album was What Now, I was like, cheeky bastards. They know exactly what, because of course you guys are feeling exactly probably what so many are thinking with such a strong release. So just going up to making the second album, I guess maybe my first question would be, if we always look at the albums that we make as not only, you know, these works of art, but also learning experiences, right? Like over the course of recording an album and making an album, you are learning as you're going. Was there anything in particular you guys learned from the first album, Ingen Tid å Miste, going into Hva Nå that you wanted to put into practice? Or just, anything from Ingen Tid å Miste that carried over, or that you guys knew that maybe you didn't want to do, or that you definitely wanted to iterate on? I would just love to hear anything that you guys have to say on that.
Where do we start?
Where do we start? That's a big question, but
Yep.
it sounds very banal maybe, but like I feel like we learned how to put together an album.
Yeah.
Because that's always hard when you have like a bunch of songs created throughout like 2 or 3 years, and how do you fit that together? So I feel like that's one thing we learned, because I remember the first album we spent hours on the the list of the album, like
And also
What songs?
the first album was much more like, these are the songs we have.
Yeah.
How do which ones do we choose, and how do we fit them in an album?
Yeah.
While the second album is much more like we kind of wrote the whole thing like
More
as
close
one piece
together,
in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like, I mean, the world has been a shitty place at all times, and we have always had a lot of strong opinions and always been a political band, but it has happened something like exceptionally a lot of bad fucking shit in the process of making this album. So it of course affected us.
Yes.
Yeah, and just real quick,
yeah.
the first album was during COVID.
Yes.
Right, so you guys really haven't had a break mentally or spiritually or emotionally since you started.
In that way,
But I'm sorry, I had to just
that's
point that out.
This is how we get out our frustration.
Yeah.
You know? We,
It's like one
make
shitty
music.
event after
Yes.
another. So next time a tragedy happens, we're like,
New
this is going
album.
to be a good
Yes.
Neo album.
Yeah.
Sorry, that
but
was irreverent, but continue.
Yeah, but that's true actually, and Ingen Tid å Miste, which means no time to waste, no time to lose, was also affected by the thought of COVID. COVID that made us also feel like we didn't have a lot of time to be musicians, because we were locked in. We couldn't rehearse. We were trapped. So it was a bit like affected by that, like, okay, now we finally can release our music and just
eager.
start
Yep.
this, no time to waste, like that kind of feeling. And now it was more like, okay, what fucking now? Because the world is crumbling, and it's so visible, like now because of social media as well.
Yep.
So you never get a break in a way, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that I don't want to see it. It's just that it feels especially apathic when you can't do anything and you're seeing it all the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you're like, what the fuck, what now? What do I do? What can I do? And that feeling of not being able to do anything when Israel is committing a genocide, it's a fucking crazy feeling in our time. And then, so that got out in the music, because we had no other way of getting it out.
Yeah.
And the first concert we played it, we donated money to ship to Gaza.
Awesome.
And of course we're gonna do that more as much as we can. But it's like it feels so especially apathic when you know the money isn't getting there either, and you're like, what do I do? What do we do? What can we do?
Yeah.
So that feeling. But of course, with the music in a world so chaotic, what's the meaning of it all? It's a bit like philosophic, but it's also that music is very important in hard times because we have to live our lives and try to do the best out of a situation. So it's so many feelings. It's a lot of feelings.
And you know, and just going off of that, we recently went to a festival in Montana that was on the native reservation, and a big part of it was helping the youth and all of that, and it was a big part of the struggle, I think, was what you're mentioning is in a world that's like so full of shit like all the time, but there are also good things too that happen every day. How do you balance that right between knowing that the people who are suffering wouldn't want you to also suffer on their behalf? You know what I mean? And it's just like you get into these really, it is emotionally a very draining time to be alive. And I definitely felt that in the album was very, very a lot of expression and catharsis getting out. Do you have it, Maya? Do you want to add to that?
I mean, I feel like you summed up everything. It's
sorry, I talk too much.
Oh, you're good. You're the vocalist. It's your job.
Exactly.
That's why I should shut up more.
No, you're good. Please don't. Please don't. But then I guess we could bring it more back to the musical side of things. So Maya, maybe talking about especially fitting the fiddle in to this massive, again, the small army that is the band of
How
Mia.
do you fit in?
How do I?
So just from Ingentino Mista into Hva Nå, like how did you go into that, like learning or wanting to do differently or wanting to iterate on?
Well, I feel like how I write music on the fiddle now is a bit different from how I did earlier. I think most of it is because we have a lot of songs that we have like written everyone together.
There were new songs.
Because in the first album it was a lot of songs that like maybe you two
already
wrote
written,
them and then we added our own stuff on top of that. But in the new album, it's many of the songs are written by everyone. Like we started to jam together and then So it's definitely something else to have the fiddle there from the start, from when we start working on a song, then like adding it on top.
On an already made thing.
Yes. I don't know. It's. I feel like the fiddle is. It feels to me that it's like more a part of the rest of the band now than just like another thing on top of the like. Basic.
It's more written into it or woven into it.
Exactly.
I would say that you're melodically like more woven into the vocals than before.
Yes.
That's like more of a change from the first album.
Yes.
Awesome.
Also, it was when we wrote the first album, I had just started playing the Hardanger fiddle.
That's true.
Because as you know, I'm a classical trained violin player originally, and then I just got the Hardanger fiddle because my grandfather made it, and I feel like it's noticeable that it's been a few more years now.
I don't know, that opening line from Ingentino Mista will always just immediately take me back, right, to listen to that record for the first time. And speaking of opening lines, Mariana, the bass finally got to actually open up the whole record.
Shine.
How often? So as a bassist, how often do bass players actually get to start an album? You know what I mean?
Well, first you have to start your own project, and then you have to write all the music in the beginning, so you have like a decent role in the band, like you have some dominance over the other instruments, you know?
So it's just been years of asserting dominance through small acts of authority,
That's
right?
what she's doing.
No, I think
Secret
it's just
plan.
that song needed to start the whole album off.
Yeah, we agreed on that pretty early.
Yeah,
we
we
were
did.
like,
We
of course, that's the first song.
It just had to be the opening, like a strong, forceful wall of guitar, bass, drums, everything in your face. We needed that for Hva Nå because that that like encapsulates the whole feeling.
We're
would
pissed
say.
off. So
Yeah, literally, like.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, maybe the third album will be like drum opening,
no.
or
More like
Enya?
a new
Enya.
instruments opening. Like maybe Henny will have like
accordion.
flute or
Yes.
accordion.
Flute opening.
Yeah.
It's just a Henny band.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
opens up, just them playing all of their instruments.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
in it.
everything.
Just multi-tracked and all of that.
Yes.
You guys don't even come in until like the third track on the album or something.
I mean, they have enough instruments to
Exactly.
all
Yep.
that, yeah.
I remember they were telling us the story about when they got the gujang,
Yeah.
the zither last time.
Yeah. I think they had to sell that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
Because they moved to like a
Smaller apartment.
40 square meter
Oh, gotcha.
apartment. Yeah.
Couldn't fit it
That's a
anymore.
tragedy because I remember they put so much into getting it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well,
But they
that's
have a
depressing.
lot of instruments.
Yeah.
They do.
I think I shouldn't spoil this maybe, but they're still using the school like storage room. We don't go there anymore, but it's shh. We're like no one asked who it is, who owns it. So I'm like,
Alyssa still has our college cello that she loans from 10 years ago, and
That you
because she was a part-time student,
yeah.
Well,
everyone forgot about her.
Oh my god.
it's been 10 years. No one's
Perfect.
gonna ask
It
now.
wasn't until a few years where I was looking at the cello and I said, "Does this say Keene State College on the instrument?" and we still have it. But no, we know the feeling of just accidentally, you
Yeah.
know, oh, we didn't know we weren't allowed to, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so aside from like specific instrument roles, were there any more general things going into Hva Nå that you guys wanted to do differently or iterate on, like sounds, song structure, maybe even how you even arrange the track list? That's always one of the biggest pains of doing an album is just because it never feels perfectly right, you know?
Yeah, I feel on the what is that called again?
Track list.
list.
The list.
Yeah.
On the when we were doing the track list, on one point we had been going so much back and forth that I had to be like, okay, and then I had this list and I said, okay, now I'm gonna argument to why, and then we're gonna say yes or no, and then we're gonna stick to that, and
Just
then
have to
and then
get
we
it
did
done.
that on like a rehearsal, and then everyone's like, yeah, we can't talk more about this. We're doing this.
Done. Finished.
Yeah, because everyone had like their opinions on, oh, this should come here because of this should blah, blah. So we always have to compromise in some way, so everyone gets a little bit what they want. at
Because we
least.
are 6 people. It's
Yeah.
really hard to make everyone agree on everything all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we wanted to be, because, like you said, it's a bit different from our first album, but it's still pretty dynamic.
Yep. It's still Mio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were also a bit like, it depends on what you like on an album, because for me it's like, okay, a ballad should come like later in the album, but then Kan ikke se for meg is maybe one of the strongest songs, which
That was
makes
my favorite by far. It was stuck in my head. Even her, she was listening to me like singing it in the kitchen. I'm like, okay. No, yeah, it was an earworm for sure.
Okay, yeah, that's thank you.
Yeah.
So we were like, and it has a very strong message as well. So
Yeah.
it felt like it was natural that even though we have the rock side of Mio that it starts with, we can still have that side, soft side in the beginning, because like, you know, we just do what we want.
Yeah, and you know, I think that's actually even what helped that track stand out was because it was surrounded by heavier tracks, and so that when it happened, it
That's
kind of
good
sounded
points.
like that. It sounded the equivalent of like that brief break in a thunderstorm
Yeah.
or something
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, for sure. Mariana or Maya, anything else you would say about just the album in general compared to Ingen Tito Mista?
I feel like we've talked about this, but it's more well put together.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would say
Crafted, yeah.
More. More well put together. I feel like you can hear that we've grown as a band. We're
Yeah.
more together in our playing.
Yeah.
There's definitely the red thread throughout it. I don't know if it's heavier than the first one, but sort of is.
I
Or
think
like
the production makes it, the way that it's mixed and mastered,
Yeah.
at least makes it sound heavier.
yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the feeling is that it's more heavy. But yeah, still Mio,
Still me.
but evolved.
Exactly, yeah.
exactly,
And as I said in my review, that's exactly what I want from a band's sophomore album or second album is not more of the same, but seeing like development or growth in some way,
Yeah.
but also not just development for the sake of change or for
No.
the
Yeah.
sake
No,
of,
yeah.
you know, it just felt like, yeah, we had we have a good thing, let's try and do the
Yeah.
thing better.
Exactly, but that's what I feel
Yep.
like we kind of did. Like it's still, you can still hear that it's us, and it's not that different. But there's another vibe there, you know. It's,
Absolutely. Yeah, it definitely
Yeah.
has its own character.
Yeah.
The album definitely has its own character.
Yeah. No, I feel like for me it stands out in a way it's, with the lyrics because I've written more like directly political lyrics than I've used to do. Not because it hasn't been there, but it's like I feel like also because of how the world is right now, it felt like it needed to be direct.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to be like that much. What is
Metaphoric or
yeah,
Yeah.
and more like we need when stuff are happening like they are right now. It's important to not be too subtle as well.
Yeah.
Not because I want to be like attacking, but more like I want to be clear on
Yeah.
the message sometimes. And yeah.
But at the same time, we still do like this folklore thing, you know,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
singing about the So it's
Yeah.
still us, but more direct and more yeah.
Yeah,
It's almost like
and-
you read my mind. What I'm
Yeah.
gonna, don't let me interrupt because that's what I'm going to ask next. But
Yeah.
don't let me interrupt if you had
No,
something else you
I
still
was
wanted to
just
say.
gonna say Gamle-Erik is still with us. And he's been with us for a long time.
Yes.
And the devil, and that's one of the songs maybe that we had that has been with us the longest.
Yeah.
That we were like, okay, but he has to come on this album
Yeah.
because the world is fucked. So we need the devil on this album because it's perfect.
I was so glad that song made it on because I remember when I saw you guys 2 years ago.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
guys played that song, and in my
Yeah.
mind, I'm like,
Where is
where is
this?
this?
song?
Especially, and then
Yeah.
even better that you added your speech that you do before, like,
Yeah.
about selling your soul to the devil.
Yeah.
It was just so
It had
great.
to be there.
It had to be there.
On the
Yeah.
B side, and you go into like the
Oh.
underground on
Yeah,
the B
you
side,
go
and
to
you're like,
hell.
that's the thought.
I'm so
Yeah.
glad that was the intent because that's
Yeah.
what I said.
Yes.
That's what I said in the review.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
seems like you flip the record and
Yeah.
then
That's
you're
the
down
intent.
underground.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, now that all the parents have gone to bed,
Darkness.
we're
Yeah.
gonna.
Yeah, it's a bit what we wanted
Yeah.
to do.
And it was because that's also that moment was when I saw you win the hearts of everyone here at Midgardsblot 2 years ago was when you put on the
Aw.
horns and talked about selling. Everyone was like, all right, I'm fucking down with this.
We're doing it again.
Yeah, we're doing it
Yeah.
again.
Hell
on
yeah.
the Satan dance circle.
Amazing.
course.
Yeah. So I guess the last question I had about the album was, you know, people call you a folk rock band. I don't know if that's how you feel, or maybe you can comment on what it means to you to be called a folk rock band or something like that. But I did want to give you guys an opportunity to talk about how you do go about integrating folklore and also elements of Norwegian folk music into the folk rock format. Because there are a lot of different approaches. Like you could do the Korpiklani thing where you just put a lot of heavy guitars over Evan polka.
Yeah.
Or you can do something like what Vanvid did with their, it's like very orchestrated and very
Yeah.
subtle dance
Yeah.
rhythms that are under these, you know, death metal riffs. I really would love to hear sort of how you guys go about integrating that folk element that is there.
I think this is a very weird thing to say,
Please,
but I'm gonna
please,
say
this
it.
is the place for it.
I think that a lot of the folk inspiration comes from listening to folk and then just not having a clue about folk music.
Absolutely.
Because what I do, for at least when I have an idea, I start with just singing something folky,
Yeah.
and
In the
then
bathroom,
usually on the toilet, and then I'm like, oh, na 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 na, and then I'm like, okay, and then I sing it, and then I feel like, okay, I think the rhythm is going like this 3 or like the ba ba ba, and then I'm just da 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 da, you know,
Yeah.
and then because I'm not trained,
Yep.
I think it makes room for so much more.
Oh yeah.
Because my main inspiration and my main what can you say, field is rock music,
Yeah.
not folk music. And that way of going into it makes it in a way more rock and less folk, but the folk inspiration is still there because
Yeah.
we like folk music very much, and that's why I think we sound different.
In other words, we are in daytime we are rockers, but at night when we go to sleep we dream about folk music,
Yes.
and then we wake up, go to do rock and roll, and then we subconsciously put it in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you're
I
like-
agree completely that there is something to be said about just liking folk music without being trained in it.
Yeah.
Because with training, as you know, as a classical
Yes.
player,
Yeah.
with
You
training
get
comes a
formed.
lot of like integrated.
Chop, chop,
Do
you
this,
have to
do
do
this,
exactly
you do
this and this.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think coming at folk music from outside of that
Yeah.
training within the traditions specifically, you do get this freedom of interpretation
Yeah.
to do what you want. Do you want to say anything more
Yeah.
about that as the resident fiddler?
Yes.
You know?
So yeah, even though I have like this classical background, I also have a lot of my musical background from like the punk scene in Oslo.
Of course.
And I feel like that's like the approach that I'm bringing to my fiddling.
Blitz energy.
Yeah, the
Blitz
blitz energy, exactly. So it's I have more the approach of like, okay, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but that's why I should do it. And
I love it.
So I'm not. Well, I really get inspired by traditional fiddle music. I absolutely do, but. It's not important to me to like. I think it's very important to keep those traditions alive as well. But
Yeah.
I'm not the person to do it.
Yeah.
For me, it's more important
pressure.
to just like do what I want and just show that it's possible to make music even if you're not like the most perfect fiddle player in the world.
Yeah.
Beautifully said. Beautifully,
Yeah.
because there are plenty of people keeping the tradition
Yeah,
alive. I would
and
say
that's
I would
great.
say at least from the outside looking in, it seems
Yeah.
Norway's in a bit of a renaissance with young fiddle players
Absolutely.
that are
Yeah.
being
Absolutely.
tradition bearers.
Oh,
And
yes.
when there are that many people who are playing that role, I think that opens up the ability for others who don't feel that called to that sort of thing
Yeah.
to feel more comfortable, not adhering to that expectation of what
Yeah.
a fiddler should be doing.
Yeah.
Right?
I do take a lot of inspiration from. There's this punk band from Oslo who's been around for like 30 years or something. They're called ByNorse.
Okay.
And they have a fiddle in it's like punk with a fiddle.
Awesome.
So I a lot of the times I take more inspiration from that than from like super traditional
Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
It's because that's just how I also do things and how I want to do it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just anything else you guys want to say about the integrate? Because at least I noticed, maybe it just went over my head the first time when I listened to your first album, but it seems like especially in that back half, there's a lot more not just folk music, but lore, right? Of like the
Yeah.
stories and the characters and all of that. Do you
Yeah.
just have anything else you want to say about just like how you go about using or like what inspires you to use the characters that you do? Because Norwegian folklore is chock full of charismatic
Yes.
characters with all these stories, you know, Askeladdin and all the, you know, all the trolls, and there's so many things to choose from. So like
Yeah.
what is it about these specific characters that you guys have chosen that sort of strikes you, or is it just because they're cool and you do it and it sounds good?
I think that it's something about folklore generally in the whole world that is like never
I mean,
aktuelt.
it's universal. It's universal in a way because the stories are like not set in a specific time. They're timeless.
Mythic
Is that
time,
mythic
yeah.
time?
Mythic time, yeah.
So you can always fit it into your modern life, like the today. Is that kind of what you're?
Yeah, it's a bit like the music itself because the folk music and traditions are so similar everywhere you go in the world. When it's also not been in contact, it sounds the same
Yep.
and has a lot of common features, and that's so amazing. And that's also with the old stories, because we humans have like a dragon making machine in our brains. It sounds like, but it's actually true because people of every culture has a dragon of some sort, but they never met.
Yeah.
But we just make dragons because that's what we do. Because that's maybe because it's like we have everything we're afraid of is like a natural dragon. I don't know why, but it's because we do that.
So I've been studying and teaching folklore for a very long time, and I have never once considered referring to humans as dragon making machines.
But
despite the fact that I always, one of the first
And,
ways that I get
yeah.
students interested, like, have you guys ever noticed that everyone has dragons?
Yeah, exactly.
And now I
You
feel
should
like we are
quote Theo
dragon
on
making
that.
machines.
Dragon making machine. That's a great quote. for,
New
like, what
single
the-
coming up.
You are the lyricist and the
Yeah.
vocal.
Yeah, but it's very weird, and but that fascinates me that these pictures they're always relevant and they're like universal,
Yeah.
and we're all humans making this folklore, which isn't true, to put stuff we don't understand into stories to understand them better or to make a point, and that is storytelling.
Yep.
And that's not that will never die.
No.
And that's very fascinating. Then you can use those old stories now and make them relevant because they're never not relevant, even though you don't believe it. But I really like to use those old stories to make them into another perspective of something more political or more relevant in our society right now. I think that's very fascinating because you can do that.
Yep.
For example, with the Sola går ned, because if people are listening to this and don't understand Norwegian, they don't understand the lyrics. I have to explain it a little bit. Sola går ned, it's where there I'm singing about when the sun goes down, then these creatures comes out at night in the shadows, which is homeless people. It's like a picture of people that you don't want to see in your daily life because society don't want to see them and don't want to do anything about housing people.
Yeah.
And they're not the problem. Society is the problem, but the song is about that kind of the way people shield themselves by just not seeing what's there.
Because it's uncomfortable for them.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that I thought was a good way of using that pictures of more like trolls or stuff you find scary, but this is just people. It's not scary, but it's scary that we're not helping them and scary that they have to live like that.
Yeah.
So that's an example of how I like to use those kind of pictures. Yeah.
I saw how it goes full circle too, because we start this off talking about how just shit everything is, in the
Yeah.
world, and then but now we've made our way into how we're using folklore and folk
Yeah.
stories to actually maybe find some beauty or some way to talk about it in a way that maybe feels a little bit more positive or more helpful than just saying, well, this is shit, shit, everything's shit, I hate everything, right? But no, I like how it sort of connected the two in the end. But and I think that's a very clever way to use it too. The
Thank you.
trolls. Yeah.
But,
Anything else?
yeah.
Yep. Anything else you guys want to add? Yeah.
I remember Eilif talking about how he was scared, our drummer, how he was scared of Draugen when he was little.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So we had to
The
make
Nøkken.
a story about either Draugen or Nøkken.
Yeah.
So that was like one of the maybe like wish lists of the album, to have some sort of story where we used Nøkken to describe something or talk about a feeling of anxiety or
That's what I was gonna say, because that's like one of the few times that we have been like
We need that,
having like an actual request of what
To make
you are gonna write about.
like, we need a
Nøkken.
song about
Yeah.
Nøkken.
Yes.
I'm like, okay.
We have Huldra, we have Trolls, we have Gamle-Erik, we need Nøkken.
Nøkken, yeah.
Yep.
And then we made that song, and it was perfect because that was right around the American election. And for me,
I thought I was safe here. Why?
Never.
yeah, and that song
Is he behind me?
is. Yeah. No, so Nøkken, yeah, it's like a feeling almost. But also, for me, it's also a little bit about people believing what they want to believe.
Yeah.
And fake news, because or telling people that stuff is fake news when it's not, and not having that logical sense, but actually seeing what you see it in many forms, propaganda, like Nøkken, you see Nøkken
You
in
see a
many
horse,
forms.
yeah.
You see a horse, you see a
Cool.
Woman,
yeah. So it's, but in some places you will never know like the people that say they see the truth maybe be the people that actually spreads the fake news.
Yep.
So yeah, that's what that means to me, but it's also about, of course, just getting swallowed by something you don't understand or getting caught up in the
I can relate to
illusion.
Eilif's fear of nookin because at least from what I know, just at least reading the old poems and reading the old
Yeah.
folk stories seems like a really effective way to make sure kids don't go into the water
Yeah,
alone.
exactly.
And, but like
That's
to me,
what it
to
is.
me, I'm
On
just
the
like
coast.
I don't
Yeah.
know, like telling them that if they go into the water, some big thing with claws is like just gonna upturn your boat or turn into a boat. In some in some stories, like literally the nookin is shape shifting into a boat,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you're being dragged under by a hideous monster. I'm like,
Yep.
no, if I was a kid,
I would never
I wouldn't
go
even like
near
turn
the
on the
water.
faucet at home. I'd be like, is he in there?
Yeah, it's
That's a pretty effective way.
scary.
Yeah.
And we're scared of stuff we don't know.
Yep.
But when
Yeah.
people start also to question a lot of stuff that we shouldn't be questioning,
Yeah.
then it's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is scary.
Yes.
So
Very
yeah.
much so.
Yep.
Yeah, well, guys, I've held you hostage here for about an hour at this point, so I just want to give you one more chance to, if there's anything that we taught or anything you want to say before we wrap up here. The floor is yours. Just I don't know about if you want to promote the album further with anything or any shows or anything that you guys want to say. The floor is yours before we say goodbye. At least to the camera. Yeah, but I'm still gonna. Yeah.
Do you want me to look in the camera?
Oh, you can.
No,
Yeah.
I was I was just gonna say that we actually managed our first abroad tour.
Yay.
This
No
fall.
way. This is even the first time I'm hearing about it.
Yeah.
Hell
And
yeah.
of course we can't go too far. We have to
Yes.
start in the
Yeah.
small.
Mhm.
So we're going to the Baltic countries.
Awesome.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Which is very, very cool. To
Yeah.
very cool like DIY venues, which is very much
Small.
true to our.
Yeah.
Yep.
We love playing at these DIY
Oh,
punk
yeah.
venues, as you
Small
know.
venues. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're actually headlining Bylarm, which is
Okay.
a Norwegian
Bylarm
music
Black.
business like showcase festival,
Awesome.
which is very, very fun because I hope a lot of people will come there from everywhere and maybe book us to a festival outside of Norway.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. Please. That's a sign. No, I'm just
I think it'll
kidding.
happen. I think
Yeah,
it'll happen.
thank
Yeah,
you.
It's
yeah.
gonna happen.
It will.
Yeah.
We just manifested.
Manifested. Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah, but yeah, and I wanted to say I'm very happy that we're coming back here.
Mhm, of
That
course.
the people here are so like supporting and want us to come back already. It's just been 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
So we're very happy to play here again
Yeah.
Mhm.
and to see you again.
Happy
Yeah,
to see you.
no,
Yeah.
absolutely. No, I got super stoked when you guys were announced again. I was also surprised. I was
Yeah,
like,
I
already.
was already.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, well,
and
I'm
they
not
were like,
complaining.
yeah. And Runa has, she's great, and
Mm-hmm.
the festival here is so good.
Mm.
And yeah, one thing I wanted to add on the other question
Mhm.
was one of the things I think makes Mio unique
Mhm.
might also be just like the way we, what do you say, the way we perform and try to show or tell in our concerts
Mhm.
the folklore or the folk stories, and that's maybe one of the reasons why we stick out from the other folk bands, because we are more a punk band like we talked about.
Yep.
But it's still that storytelling I think is very fun to interact with the audience, and I really think it's very fun to just a concert is like a dialogue
Yep.
between audience and musicians, and I really like when it gets more involved, because a good show for us is when the audience is in it
Yeah.
with us, because we're doing it together.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So that's for us, it's been, and we've been touring a lot and had so much different kind of audiences, and in general it's so fun to get people involved in any kind of setting
Yeah.
and any kind of age, any kind of like, and that's what fascinates me about our project, and I really think that's very, very cool to be able to engage people
Yep.
and
Yeah.
involve them, because they're also part of the whole thing, not
Awesome.
just us. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else from Mariana or Maya? Are you guys ready to go get some more beer or something?
Yeah, we should probably
Get
go
going.
get ready.
Yep,
Actually,
of course. Well, Mio, thank you guys so much for doing yet
Thank
another
you.
interview
Thank
for the
you.
Nordic Sound. Love you guys to death, and I'm looking forward to seeing you live. And Alyssa's stoked to see you guys for the very first time. We'll be front and center. All right, cool.
Thank
Take
you.
care, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.